A report has just detailed that multiple sailors have been injured. The story reports that a naval submarine struck a mystery object while in the Indo-Pacific region. The submarine that was hit was the USS Connecticut, a multi-billion-dollar attack submarine. This happened on Tuesday, with officials saying that no life-threatening injuries had occurred, with the Navy saying that they can't confirm what it was that they struck. Interestingly, one Navy official who said they would give an interview as long as they were kept anonymous, detailed that there were no areas around them in which they could have come into contact with, further saying that there was no landmass within the submarine's path. This comment caught many people's attention, and led to some suggesting that the submarine may have hit another high-tech sub, or perhaps something a bit more mysterious. Captain Bill Clinton said the following about the incident. The Seawolf-class fast attack submarine USS Connecticut, SSN-22, struck an object while submerged on the afternoon of October 2nd, while operating in international waters in the Indo-Pacific region. The safety of the crew remains the Navy's top priority. There's no life-threatening injuries. The submarine remains in a safe and stable condition. US Connecticut's nuclear propulsion plant and spaces were not affected, and remain fully operational. The extent of damage to the remainder of the submarine is being assessed. The US Navy has not requested any assistance. The incident will be investigated. End quote. Although no serious injuries have been reported, Navy officials did say that 11 sailors were hurt during the incident, saying that many of them needed their injuries looked at. Officials have noted that things like this don't happen very often. In fact, they noted that the last time a US submarine struck an underwater object was back in 2005, and this was when the USS San Francisco struck an underwater mountain. However, as mentioned by one of the naval officers on board, there was nothing in the path of the USS Connecticut. Interestingly, another Navy official said there's no evidence that the submarine struck another sub, and said that the incident was not hostile in nature. Although they said the incident is being investigated, as of right now it's being labelled as somewhat of a mystery. The sailors described their injuries as being deep bruises, cuts and bumps. Due to the nature of the incident, many who read the story were quick to put forward their own theories for what the strange objects could have been, saying that the fact it remained a mystery likely means that it was an unknown object. It's interesting that the Navy said it wasn't an underwater landmass, and that it wasn't another submarine. This has caught the interest of many people, and some have said that the submarine could have come into contact with a USO. A USO is an unidentified submerged object, and it's something that's been linked to the military for some time now. For years, military officials have reported that they've encountered strange objects while out in the ocean, saying that many times these objects are seen entering and exiting the oceans at high speeds, and many times the Navy has investigated these claims, but never seemed to be able to find an answer. Many of these reports have been released through declassified networks, giving us a glimpse into some of the things that Navy officials encounter. These unidentified submerged objects have also been heavily featured in the news, with outlets noting that naval ships have been buzzed by mysterious flying crafts, only for them to fly into the water and stay submerged for several hours. What's interesting about this is that we have documented proof of these things showing interest in large naval ships, and also they've appeared on radar. These large underwater objects, which have been described as being cylinder or shaped like a disc, have been seen travelling at hundreds of knots. In fact, when many of these reports came to the surface, previous Navy officers came forward with their encounters, saying that they have the ability to keep up with the fastest ships or submarines, and that a few people have actually seen these things fly out of the water without making a disturbance. A few people have said that these underwater crafts could be the same thing as what people are seeing in the sky, and that they just happen to come from our oceans. This theory has gained more attention in recent years after sailors and other military officials have started to open up about their encounters, and the fact that they're being reported as being similar in shape to mysterious flying crafts could also back up this theory. Radar technicians have also come forward with their stories about these things, and said that officials have told them not to keep data on them, and that when they do track them they've been given strict instructions to keep the evidence hidden. In fact, one worker said that one of these strange objects suddenly shot up from below them, and that they had been tracking it for several minutes, saying that it was getting really close and then flying around them. The worker then said that after chasing the submarine it suddenly submerged itself, and wasn't seen for the rest of the day. This doesn't mean that this is what the USS Connecticut encountered, but the fact that they said it wasn't an underwater mountain or another submarine has led to some looking at other possibilities. And what's interesting is that it's not the general public who have detailed these strange underwater objects, it's the Navy officials who spend large amounts of time on the water, leaving some to say that these are the best people to listen to because they have the most experience around water. As of right now, the Navy has said that they're going to investigate the strange encounter. Clock of the Long Now is also known as the 10,000-year clock. It's a mechanical clock that's been designed for timekeeping for 10,000 years. It's under construction and is being built by Longnew Foundation. The project was first conceived by Danny Hillis. He started working on the idea in 1986. A prototype of the clock was completed in 1999 and is kept at the Science Museum in London. It started working on December 31st, 1999, right at New Year's Eve. This prototype is 2 meters high. A couple of more similar prototypes have been put on display at the Long Now Museum and store located in San Francisco. The full-scale project is still under construction in Texas in the United States. Amazon's Jeff Bezos is funding the construction of the first fully-scale prototype. The estimated cost of the prototype is around $42 million and is being built on the land developed by Jeff Bezos himself. The idea behind the clock is that instead of having a second hand, minute hand and an hour hand, it will have a year hand that will tick once at the end of every year, and it will also have a century hand that will tick at the end of each century. In addition, a cuckoo will come at the end of each millennium, which will mark the end of the millennium. The website about the Clock of the Long Now gives detailed information about this iconic project that is aimed to serve humanity for the next 10,000 years. Jeff Bezos said the following on the clock's official website. "We are building a 10,000-year clock. It's a special clock, designed to be a symbol, an icon for long-term thinking. It's of monumental scale inside of a mountain in West Texas. The father of the clock is Danny Hillis. He's been thinking about and working on the clock since 1989. He wanted to build a clock that ticked once a year, where the century hand advances once every 100 years, and the cuckoo comes out on the millennium. The vision was and still is to build a clock that will keep time for the next 10,000 years. I've been helping Danny with the project for the last half a dozen years. As I see it, humans are now technologically advanced enough that we can create not only extraordinary wonders, but also civilization-scale problems. We are likely to need more long-term thinking. Visiting the clock will take a commitment. The nearest airport is several hours away by car, and the foot trail to the clock is rugged, rising almost 2,000 feet above the valley floor. Building a clock inside a remote mountain is a big task. Construction is underway, and we're making progress every day. After many years of hard work and creative thinking, the final design and engineering of the clock is nearly complete, and fabrication of the full clock parts have begun." End quote. Construction on the clock started back in 2018, and as of right now it's not known when the creation will be finished. The location of the clock is on land owned by Jeff Bezos, so even when it's finished it's unknown whether anyone will be able to reach it. Those that have been following the clock's creation have said that although the journey itself is hours away from anything, don't be disappointed if no one ends up visiting the creation, although the website seems to hint that people will be able to visit the project. The website continues with the following. Designed by Danny Hillis, the clock is designed to run for 10 millennia, with minimum maintenance and interruption. The clock is powered by mechanical energy harvested from sunlight, as well as the people that visit it. The primary materials used in the clock are marine-grade stainless steel, titanium and dry-running ceramic ball bearings. The entire mechanism will be installed in an underground facility in West Texas. The full-scale 10,000-year clock is now under construction. While there's no completion date scheduled, we do plan to open it to the public once it's ready. This is one of several projects by Long now to foster long-term thinking in the context of the next 10,000 years. Danny Hillis continued with the following. I cannot imagine the future, but I care about it. I know I am part of the story that starts long before I can remember, and continues long beyond when anyone will remember me. I sense that I'm alive at a time of important change, and I feel a responsibility to make sure that the change comes out well. I plant my acorns knowing that I will never live to harvest the oaks. I have hope for the future. The project has divided some people. Danny Hillis is a smart man. He's an established inventor and scientist, but recent questions that he's answered has left some people questioning whether this project is of importance. He co-founded a biotech startup company that looks into and studies cancer research. Wired interviewed him and asked how he can justify working on the clock instead of focusing on cancer research. Hillis responded with the following. I think this is the most important thing I can work on, more than cancer. Over the long run, I think this will make more difference to more people. This of course got people talking, with one online user saying the following. What does this clock do for our world? It's a giant clock that will keep time for the next 10,000 years. I don't really get the point of it. It's Jeff Bezos' money and he can spend it how he wants, but part of me thinks that $45 million could have gone on something better. While another user agreed with Hillis, saying this, the clock of the long now is a project of the future, and I think the point of it is more philosophical in the sense that we have such a short time span on Earth. None of us are going to be around for long, and all of our problems will be outlived by this clock. To me, it makes me think that we should all slow down and appreciate the smaller things in life. The clock is there to remind us that nothing lasts forever. We all have our short time span on planet Earth. So what do you make of the clock of the long now? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below, and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.